As expected, the Canelo Golovkin rematch has been signed and sealed for Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2018, live and exclusive on HBO pay-per-view. Now, I think a lot of people need to give Canelo credit here because there were a lot of the Golovkin fans who were adamant that Canelo would never take this rematch. As far as I'm aware, there was no rematch clause in place for Golovkin. So he didn't have the option of forcing Canelo into an immediate rematch, as far as I'm aware. Therefore, Canelo was taking this rematch voluntarily. You know, he potentially could have gone off to fight somebody else, but he's decided to take on Golovkin in the rematch. He says, and I'm paraphrasing here, that he's going to stop Golovkin this time and Golovkin won't have anything to complain about because, you know, Golovkin wasn't happy with the decision first time around. Now, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't in this life a lot of the time. And recently I retracted my my initial suggestion that the recent fight we had on the weekend between Usyk and Bradis was a robbery. You know, I did a retraction and I changed my mind having watched the fight a second time. And I actually believe it was a fight which I thought Bradis won, but I can understand now why people thought Usyk won, and I can understand why people thought it was close because, yeah, it was one of those kind of fights with a lot of close rounds. So that is an instance where I changed my mind having watched the fight a second time. But when it comes to Canelo Golovkin, when I watched that fight a second and third time, I didn't change my mind. That was a fight which I thought was close when I watched it. And so a draw didn't bother me. And I watched it again and I came up with the same result, despite the fact that the fans were upset and the people were saying, Hatman, how can you say this? Golovkin clearly won, etc., etc. No, when I watched it a second and third time, I saw the same fight as I did the first time around. So, you know, that's just an example of, look, people, I have to say what I see. I have to be honest. That's how I'm always going to be with you guys. And I couldn't watch that Usyk Bradis fight a second time around and lie to myself with what I was seeing on the screen because it looked different to me second time around. So I had to be honest with you guys about it. And I had to be honest with myself. But with Canelo Golovkin, again, I was just being honest. I saw it the same way when I watched it the second and third time that I saw it the first time. So I didn't change my mind on that occasion, and many other occasions I haven't changed my mind because I just have to be real, honest with myself and honest with you guys. I thought Canelo Golovkin was a very close fight, which could have gone either way. So I can't grumble at a draw. In terms of the rematch, you guys who said that Canelo was going to run away, you have to give Canelo credit because he didn't have to take this rematch ostensibly. And as far as how it's going to go, I think there's a lot Canelo can build on from the first fight. First of all, Canelo uncharacteristically and unusually was wearing winning gloves. I've never seen Canelo wear winning. Actually, I might have seen Canelo wear winning gloves. Maybe he wore winning gloves earlier on in his career. Did he wear them against Boldemir? Or was he wearing Reyes gloves for that fight? I can't remember now, but there might have been some of Canelo's early fights where he wore winning gloves, but he certainly hasn't worn them for many, many years up until he fought Golovkin. And winning gloves are known for being very padded. And that's why they're not really favored by a lot of top professionals because, you know, they prefer gloves that are a bit more solid or a bit less padded. The horsehair gloves are less padded and Grant gloves are more solid feeling. The foam is, you know, has a denser feeling than the foam on winning gloves. So winning gloves are kind of a protective glove. And there had been rumors, I'd been told by Canelo fans before the Golovkin fight, that Canelo had a hand injury, his right hand. So perhaps that's why he was wearing winning gloves, you know, to protect a hand injury. In this rematch here, will his hand injury be healed? And will that make a difference to his performance? Also, Canelo maybe didn't know what to expect against Golovkin in the first fight in terms of Golovkin's punching power. Whereas now he does. Now he knows what Golovkin's like in terms of physical strength. And I know a lot of people are gonna scoff at this, but I actually think Alvarez might be physically stronger than Golovkin. I know he was backpedaling most of the fight, but to me, that was more down to strategy and also down to the fact that Canelo isn't the most, he don't have the best engine. His stamina is not the greatest. So it was more a stamina thing and a strategy thing rather than a physical strength thing, because whenever Canelo decided to come forward and actually impose himself on Golovkin physically, he was able to push Golovkin back relatively easily. If you actually notice those points in the fight where he did that. So I think Canelo might have been surprised by how, I don't even want to use the word weak, but he may have been surprised by the fact that Golovkin wasn't as strong as he expected, as physically strong as he expected. So with the hand injury, with the physical strength, with knowing what Golovkin's power is like now, I think Canelo has a lot to build on going into the rematch. Golovkin really can't do much different than he did first time around, in my view. I felt like if Golovkin boxed against Canelo, he would have success, but he actually didn't. He boxed early in the fight, and that was to Canelo's advantage. When he started pressing the action, that's when Golovkin started having a bit more success. But when he boxed with Canelo, Canelo was getting the better of it. So, yeah, there's not really much else that Golovkin can do from what I can see, but I think Canelo can do more different. I think he needs to push Golovkin back more, attack Golovkin more. Obviously, he needs to be strategic with it because Canelo's stamina has never been great. But yeah, I think he needs to fight a more aggressive fight, more body shots, and take it to Golovkin a bit. He might want to reserve it for the later rounds and try and nick early rounds if possible. It's going to be difficult, but that's what he might try and do. As far as Golovkin, I guess he can just start applying the pressure earlier, but he could walk into something, he could get himself cut, could get himself hurt. Who knows? So let me know how you guys feel about this rematch. Is it going to be similar to the first fight? Is Canelo going to do better second time around? Is Golovkin going to do better? And how do you feel about the fact that Canelo's taking it when he didn't have to? Are you going to give him credit for that? Were you one of those people who said that he would never take the rematch? What is the thought process that Canelo has for taking this rematch right now? Is it just money? Perhaps there was no rematch clause in place, but maybe there was pressure from the network, HBO. I don't know. You let me know what you think in the comment section below. Maybe it was just Canelo shooting for greatness, wanting to be the number one in the division in terms of the way the majority of people see it. So maybe that's what it was. Whatever the case may be, let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out.